Okay. Hello, everyone. How are you going? And welcome back to Aaron Engineering. I do apologize that I haven't had a video out for quite a while. It's been busy times. You might have to mute that on your side, Carl, if you don't mind.
All right, got it.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, anyway, I've got a special guest on the channel today. We've got Timm all the way from Wisconsin in the United States of America. Timm Rosenthal, who runs got his own business running Rosenthal Products, the inventor and maker of the Rose Indexer. Timm, welcome and thank you for coming on today to share this opportunity and journey with us.
I sincerely appreciate the opportunity as well. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yep. My pleasure, Timm. Now, would you like to explain to us, Timm, roughly what it is you do with your company and what you make here today?
Yeah, my day job is a machine shop. I've been doing that in the backyard for almost 17 years. I've been doing it for 25 or 26 as a career, but started my own shop up about 17 years ago. And basically job shop, anything that comes in the door that we can make it work, try to figure it out. It's just kind of progressed on its own. The first couple of years are pretty slow and pretty non-eventful, but after you kind of prove your salt a little bit, it kind of snowballs and it tends to work out. But probably 10 years ago, I started kind of making some of the original versions of the Rose Index to just make my day a little bit easier. I'd buy all sorts of different tools that just didn't do what I wanted to. They're inconvenient, and just doing the day job of Rosenthal machine. And then kids started to come along a little bit. I've got my 14-year-old here right now that typically does all my computer work as far as the websites. He does the YouTube editing. We're still a long ways from where I'd like to be with the YouTube stuff, but I'm just a guy that cuts chips for a living. That's what I do.
Awesome. And I met your young man beside you there, Carl, off camera there before, and he's a gun, mate. He's right onto everything. I'm watching him run all the IT stuff, and he's like 5 steps ahead of me. I'm trying to keep up with him. So yeah, welcome, Carl. Good to see you joining in and helping Dad out, mate. He's a good young man. I'm proud of you, buddy. But what I'm really like here, Timm, is your product, okay? And I've never seen it before. Now, I've got a few old fellas who've been my mentors over the time, and I've asked old Peter Pilbeam the other day, I said, have you ever seen one of these before? He goes, never in my life. Like Pete's probably 70. He's from England. He's on every machining, old-fashioned magazines he's never seen. So, mate, how did you come up with it? If you don't mind, give us some background on how you actually thought about this indexing tool, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine. It's kind of came about with just the general shop stuff that I'd run into with prototyping or making things. And some of the original parts that I ever did were round tubes that I would need to drill holes, and then I'd have to rotate the part 90 degrees and drill some holes through it also. But to a certain extent, I couldn't put them in an indexing head because I needed to have full accessibility of the whole part. Yeah. And then sometimes you want to machine an end and machine the other end and do it all in one setup instead of flipping around. So the original ones were extremely simple. They were just a square block, hole through them with a set screw, and they worked pretty well, but I made them per size that I needed. So the original one, I hate to admit, it was 10 millimeter. I try to stay away from that kind of jargon there, but and then some of the next versions were the fact that a lot of my customers like to have shafts that the keys are in time. But a lot of the shafts were 6 feet or longer, and
you're not going to get them in an indexing block or an indexing head, are you?
No,
in a collet block. Yeah.
The big way for me is I don't have a machine with that much travel, so I would have multiple vices on my table. Some of them I would clamp down, some of them I wouldn't, because then I would just kind of shuffle between vices so that you could maintain the orientation. Because anybody that knows round stock is kind of tricky when you come to moving it. If you lose your orientation, it creates a whole bunch of problems. But probably a year or two after the original one came out, I started getting fed up with shifting vices around. And there was times where I'd actually take a vise, just take the vise off the table with the stock still in it, spin it around, put it back down into the vise.
Yep.
And it's not real convenient.
No, it'd be awkward.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So then I made another one up, same concept, just a different sized hole. And that one ended up being a 7/8 diameter hole. And then a month later, 2 months later, whatever it was, I needed something with an inch hole. And I just got fed up. I just for the whole day, I said, I'm not making anything for a customer. And I made up every size I could make. And then the gears actually started turning. And I had a whole pile of them. And I couldn't justify when I realized I actually had something, I couldn't justify selling them like you would with gauge blocks. You can't sell a whole pile of them. You can't sell one with a whole bunch of bushings. And I've got probably 5 or 6 different designs in my shop before it kind of got to where it's at.
Right.
But, I use it quite often in the shop. It's a lifesaver.
It does. Look, and I'm just reading the comments now, Tim. There's lots of customers coming up now just saying how well they work. Just a quick shout out to some of the guys here today. We got obviously your young man there from Rosenthal Products. Carl's on your channel answering some. We got Kimber, Maddie from Maddie's Workshop, Stan Zakowski. Hi, Stan, and welcome. Remind me to give Stan a shout out because he's got the Bar Z Bash coming up too, Tim. We got Randy Richard here. G'day, Randy. Nice to see you, buddy. We've got Tom over at Hilltop Machine Works. Tom's a good buddy of mine. Stan, I've mentioned Stan Zakowski, Randy. Gary. G'day, Gary from Old Iron Machine Works. Gary does some good stuff. Billy from Knox Machining. And there's a couple of your customers there. James saying great product. So thank you. So now what about people that haven't seen your product, Tim? I believe you're going to have a booth coming up soon. You want to just tell everybody out there on YouTube land where you're going, and hopefully they can come and meet with you and interact with you and look at your product?
Yeah, I've been reaching out a little bit to different YouTube channels, and Randy was the first one, and Randy's an amazing individual. I'm sincerely looking forward to shaking his hand and saying thank you for giving me a shot. And kind of went down the line and kind of ended up being able to speak with Stan. And speaking with Stan, I realized that he's kind of in a neighborhood that I've been wanting to go for a vacation for a long time in. And the fact that I could kind of kill a couple birds with one stone was very intriguing. And then he offered up that I could put a booth up at his show, which is very much appreciated. It's pretty cool. For me to put a show together anywhere around here is kind of costly, and I've not done it before. I want to try to do a decent job at it.
I've had a few friends of mine go over to Stan's Bar Z Bash, and they've had a really good time. I haven't had the opportunity yet. Obviously, for us guys living in Australia, as you know, we're actually really a part of Asia down the bottom there. It takes us, anywhere between 15 to 20 hours to go to the USA. So it's a long flight. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Want to meet up with some of the other people. I kind of wish I could have talked Mr. Pete into going. He's not going to, the way it sounds is he's not going to go. He went to the Florida Flywheelers, and he's still kind of catching back up with things after that. But looking forward to meeting some of the other people.
Now, speaking of Mr. Pete, you've got some new shirts you were telling me about that you've got done up.
I legitimately just had them printed up. I got the original one yesterday. So I joked with Mr. Pete probably 6 months ago. I'm kind of slow on some things, but Mr. Pete has kind of an approval rating with all sorts of different people. And I think I've seen shirts that he says, if it says stare it, I like it. I think I've seen videos with him with those kind of shirts in there. And so I figured I'd ask him if he'd be okay if I did something with Mr. Pete approved. And
he was okay with that.
Yeah, I actually showed him the proofs and things yesterday, and he liked them quite a bit.
Yeah, no, he's a lovely man, Mr. Pete, a genuine bloke. I don't think you could meet a much more genuine person than Mr. Pete, and integrity, honesty, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we went to a little vacation last year, and he was on the way to our vacation, and we stopped in. I was expecting to talk to him for 45 minutes, handshake and say thank you. And I think it was about 4 or 5 hours we actually left.
Oh,
we went
nice.
to lunch, and my kid totally took over the conversation, and it was really nice. It was just like talking with your grandfather.
Yeah. Now, coming back to your product, if you don't mind, Tim, you've got a few products on offer, haven't you? Like different sizes and different. And the one that we're seeing in the screen behind you at the moment is your top of the range one. It's got the actual laser etched degree around the side, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been right now. There's only 2 sizes. The first one is from roughly a 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter up to an inch or 25 millimeter.
Yep.
And then the larger version that I have goes from 1 inch to 2 inch.
Yep.
I do have some material out on the shelf that I've had for probably a couple of weeks now, and I'm trying to find the time to make what I want to make is a 3-inch version that will go from 1 inch to 3 inch, and then I'm going to make a 4-inch version that'll go from 2 inch to 4 inch.
Right.
I really put a lot of effort into making sure that they're structurally sound and that they don't flex a lot. So I need at least a week or 2 to make sure I can go through and make them the way I want and see if it works the way that I expect. So honestly, those are probably 6 months off the way it's going. But I've got an idea for a square that I want to make, because with the index, you've got 45 degrees, you've got 60-degree increments and 90-degree increments. And if you get a little creative between a square and adjustable parallels, you can pull 30 degrees out of taking 90 out of your hex.
Yep.
But it gets kind of cumbersome using angled parallels. So I've always kind of stated the fact that you could get 1-degree increments with angled parallels. So I did kind of come up to kind of cheat a little bit. I came up with the degree wheel, and it's laser printed in-house here. All the laser markings are done in-house, and it's kind of an interesting thing. If you can let a screen share, I'll kind of show how that actually works.
Yep. When you're ready, I'll add the stream. Carl, if you can just do the share there, mate, and I'll add it to the stream for Dad.
Degree wheel. Just bring up picture one. Slide it over just a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I gotta pull up the screen share.
And the thing is, why Carl's doing that, these lasers, the metal etch, Tim, are not cheap, are they?
No, I really prefer not to say how much I've got.
No, I don't want you to. I'm just saying.
It's amazing how well they work. It's just flat amazing. And the one that I have is fiber, so there's literally 2 little mirrors in there that wiggle around.
Yep.
But when I was farting around with it, the original 1 or 2 that I made, it looked like the degree marks were kind of rotationally off ever so slightly. So there's a parameter that I can change, and I changed it by a 1/2 degree, because every print I've ever seen is plus or minus a 1/2 degree. Yeah. And it went from being on one side of my square to completely on the other side. So I bumped it back to 0.2 degrees, and it was, I hate to say dead nuts, but it looked like it was right on the money.
Yeah. Look, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's just zoom in here. I'm just going to bring this in for you so people can see what we're talking about here. So I've just taken you into full screen layout. So if everybody out there watching, you can see the round stock that Tim's got held in the Kurt vise, and then he's got the indexing block coming down. But what I really like about your indexing block there, Tim, is that you've got a brass, it looks like a brass insert in that set screw. Would that be correct?
Yes, it is. It makes totally a difference.
Absolutely. It's like no marking of the part.
Yeah, I've got some videos that I put out there where I clamped a part that was anodized because I had kind of a remanufacturing part that I had to do. And the brass tip left a little bit of a bronze color to it, and it wiped right off. There was no markings, no anything on the finished part that I was altering. But if you see in the picture there, the idea is the fact that you can use the outside square to line up on the machinist square, and that'll put the 0 on the top and the 180 on the bottom.
Yes. Yep. I see that.
And then if you want to double check, then we just slide over a little bit and you check with the 0, and then the 180 should be right on the money.
Absolutely. That's awesome, mate.
And then if you want to, I just went with a 10-degree movement. Yep. So then you line up the top with 10 degrees, and 180 degrees later, you've got the 190 up.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
legitimately, if you've got halfway decent eyes, you've got 1 degree increments that you can utilize.
Yeah. That's pretty good, mate. That's awesome. I'll just take out a full screen here so we can see our face again.
Okay.
Mate, that's incredible. That's a really, really good idea.
Well, it's just something I kind of came up with. I had the availability to do it, and
Yep.
we tried it. Took a little doing to get it right. I've got quite a few hours into getting it drawn up to match around, because I got pretty specific with the distances so that it filled the area up, and yet it didn't kind of blend into anything else. But
It's a great now, but that's not on every model though, is it? That's on that model.
yeah, I have it on the hobbyist. It's called the Degree Wheel Edition.
Yep.
In American, I charge about $10 extra for that. But
it's worth it, mate. It's worth every cent.
I believe it is. It really depends on what the customer feels or what the customer is going to use it for.
Yep.
But
now, as you know, I dabble in a bit of CNC as well, Tim. But what I like about your degree wheel is that you've actually deburred every side of that part. Okay, and anybody who knows who does traditional just 3-axis machining, that's not an easy feat. So this is where this is where people have got to understand where is the cost, and the cost is in the machining, the anodizing, the laser etching, and the quality of machining. Now, I've seen one of your videos. You actually put that inside a computerized measuring equipment machine, and I was quite surprised just how accurate it was. You know,
in the steel model is extremely stable. We tested originally up to 135 inch-pounds of torque on the set screw. And with a brass tip set screw, that tip dug completely into the aluminum.
Yep.
And I put it on my surface plate while it was still under load. And I believe we had around 8/10,000ths of an inch of indicator movement on any one of the surfaces. And you don't need much more than a twist. So I was so just over the top with how much force I put on it. Was ridiculous. So the structure of the steel one's amazing.
Oh, it's incredible! It's incredible. Now, are you still making the steel ones as well as the aluminum ones?
Yeah, the only reason that I came out with the aluminum was because on one of Mr. Pete's original videos where he was machine drilling a square hole, there was a lot of I have nothing negative to say about a hobbyist, but there was quite a few hobbyists that were kind of concerned about the price tag.
Yep.
And the trick with these is they're completely machined. I bring in a block of material and they're completely machined out of a block of material.
Out of billet. That's right. Billet stock. Yep.
So there's a lot of material removal, and it's not really a cheap process. I put a lot of effort into every step of the process, and the patenting aspect, trademarking aspect, there's a lot into it, but the price tag got a little excessive for people that kind of wanted to just have it, and just they couldn't justify the extra expense. So I ended up realizing that I was missing out with some opportunity. So then I decided to come out with the aluminum version, which I call the hobbyist model.
Yep. But that's okay. That's perfect. Yeah. For the hobbyists like me and my shed here, mate, my 2-car garage in suburban Melbourne, Australia, that'd be ideal. That's all I need would be the aluminium one.
They do flex a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. They're not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But you just have to expect that.
Yeah.
But they're still just as usable. They're the same size. I've had plenty of projects. If I can get around to some more videos, when you actually have 2 of these things, you can really increase the work envelope of your machine.
Yep.
I've got some pictures that we can bring up in a little bit. I got a little sidetracked there, but they're the same size. So if you want a good steel one and you want another one kind of for a support or for another thing to work with, the aluminum really does complement it.
Yeah.
But the ability to increase your work envelope is just huge.
Look, I commend you, mate. It's an excellent product, and I've just got to show my wife here at the moment because she's watching us, Tim. She's at work, the naughty girl. She's got, hi everyone, just wanted to say hello while I'm at work. Hello, love. Thanks for joining in. Now, where we're going there's a few people coming in the chat going, I'm heading to the bash, I'm going to grab one. But why everyone's here at the moment, we do have a discount code, don't we, Carl, do you want to just tell the viewers, mate, that there's going to be a discount code that's valid for 24 hours from now that you can apply, and you can get, Carl, what was the discount? Would you like to just chime in there, buddy?
Yes. So the Aaron 15, that discount code will be valid for the next 24 hours. That'll give you 15% off all Rosendex orders.
Yeah, well, that's quite generous, Tim. Thanks for offering that up to the viewers, mate. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time and putting the effort in for this. This is very appreciated.
No, look, my pleasure, buddy. Absolutely my pleasure. Now, for Australian people as well, if you are heading up to Sydney, we've got, so remember that Tim is heading over to the Bar Z Bash, which is coming up. When is that again, Tim? The Bar Z Bash, is that?
Should be around the 26th weekend of, if Stan wants to chime in, he could probably tell me right up, but I think it's around the 26th or 27th of June.
June. Okay. Stan, if you're still there, buddy, if you can just type that in the chat, that I'd appreciate that. I'll actually put a link to the Bar Z Bash in the description. I think you gave it to me, Tim, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping you can kind of put that up. I will look
Yep.
at my calendar quick because I got pretty much everything written down here.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I can put that link in the chat.
The 25th is this bash.
Yeah, okay. I can find that later anyway after we end the live stream. But for Australian people that want to have a look at one of these, so we have the large manufacturing week coming up in Sydney this June on the 7th. Yeah, thanks, Stan. Stan's just jumped in there. The bash is on June the 25th. Okay. So in Australia, we're having National Manufacturing Week in Sydney. I think it starts on the 7th of June, goes for about a week, 4 days. And I believe Arthur from Live Tools is looking at distributing your product for you in Australia, Tim, which would be good. And he might have a couple of samples. Is that correct? That he can show customers, prospective customers?
Yeah, we're communicating a little bit right now, and we're basically planning on sending over a 1 inch, a 2 inch, and a 2 inch with a degree wheel on it, so that he can display that.
That would be good. It'd be nice to see it. I'm going to pop up there, so it'd be good to actually see one up close, Tim. That'd be awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Now, another thing I want to point out too, that a lot of people watching this, Tim, you're not a big multinational company. You're
no, not even close.
You're a family business. I believe your young man sitting beside you, Carl, he helps you. You're not a multinational. You're not Tesla. You're not Facebook. So you're just a guy trying to have a go and have a crack and make a living and his mark in life. Would you like to just chime in there a bit about that?
Yeah, I've got
like an average guy,
Yeah, I'm just a guy that goes to work. I'm a guy that pays his taxes and bills, and realistically, I just kind of had that light bulb moment. Everybody kind of dreams about having their gadget or their widget.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yep.
It took me probably 20, 25 years before I actually had the light bulb moment. And if it wouldn't have been for having the job or the shop in the backyard, having all the different jobs, I wouldn't have had the opportunity. And there's a lot of people that kind of say, well, I should have, I could have, I missed out on an opportunity. And it took a lot of effort to just say, hey, I'm going to do it. And I had a business friend locally that he knew of the product, and he says, you know what, you need to do this. And I hemmed and hawed too much. And he said, I'll pay for your provisional patent.
That's awesome.
And I told him I sincerely appreciate that, but I can't accept it. And you just pushed me over the edge and gave me the push I needed. And it's still been a long road. It's not inexpensive. It's a lot of extra effort, but I'm trying to give it a shot, see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And mate, you've done a lot of research and development, and that costs money. It costs time, and just to put together a patent, sorry, my accent's different than the American accent, is big money, and it's time consuming, and you've got to cross your T's and dot your I's and all that sort of stuff. And
it's very difficult, and then it gets a little disheartening when you see somebody making their own version or stealing it or being disrespectful. I realize that not everybody's going to buy one, but it's kind of like your firstborn. My kids are
that's right.
my world, but to a certain extent, this this is my chance to leave a little bit of a mark on the world. So
Yeah.
hopefully something's there after I'm gone.
Yeah, that's right. And while we're at it, and that's how it led to this discussion, because, I made one and 3D printed, and you reached out to me and said, hey, and then I thought, yeah, look, I'm really sorry, Tim. I've probably done the wrong thing here. Let's talk about it online and give you some exposure and try and, how would you say, repent for my sins, so to speak, jovially, of course. So yeah, I'm just glad people are coming out and can actually see who you are and what you're doing and the products you got for sale. And I think it's a great product, mate.
I appreciate that. I'm a little biased. I think it is too, but my word doesn't really mean much until people have a chance to listen to somebody like yourself or like Mr. Pete's original video or Randy's original video.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to working with more YouTube channels so that their word can kind of reflect what I know.
Exactly. And just so people know out there, this is not a sponsored video. Tim, I'm just reached out to Tim and just to, clear the air and get him some exposure. This is no money's exchanging hands here. There's nothing to see. And you can verify that, Tim. This is just two guys meeting on opposite side of the world, chewing the fat and, talking about engineering, and it's our passion. It's our love.
No, it's I watched Mr. Pete break down a little bit in one of his videos talking about how wonderful it was for some of the people that he's met, some of the people that have sent him letters, some of the people that just told him how they've learned so much from him. And a couple of years ago, had somebody would have told me that you're going to be communicating with people around the world, I would have said, yeah, that's a nice pipe dream. But I've got quite a few happy customers that are from the United Kingdom. I've got a couple from Australia. I've got Simon selling out of Malta, and it's really amazing for these people to send pictures back of things that they've made. And I would have never guessed that this could have turned into anything. I was just hoping to have a little bit of something, and who knows what it's going to happen. Yep.
Well, I can't wait to get up to Sydney to see him, actually. So I'd like to see your demo models that you're sending over to Arthur at Live Tools. That'd be awesome. And I know Randy's done a video on this as well. So guys, if you're watching, go back and have a look at these other videos that Tim's mentioned. Go and have a look at Mr. Pete's video when he actually tested out the Rose indexer. So did Randy Richard. I know Randy did a video on it as well. Go and watch those videos, and they're pretty cool. They've done some good stuff with them. Who else have you given it to, mate, to give a try? Any other YouTubers I've missed out that we need to give a shout to?
Quinn Dunkey, she aired it on Making an Acme Screw probably a month ago.
So that's Blondie Hacks, Quinn,
yeah,
is that? Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah. Yuchel Kim, he's got a set. There's a really wonderful lady kind of over, I think somewhere over by Los Angeles. Her channel is Amy Makes Stuff, I believe.
Yep.
I try not to push anybody with their videos.
No, that's okay. Yep.
There's a really big channel out there with over 1 million viewers. I don't want to poke fun at him yet, but I'm just patiently waiting. He's had his for probably 7 or 8 months, and
okay,
when it works out, it works out.
Yeah.
Being able to communicate with some of these people are awesome. Just the way that Stan's invited me in, and Randy, and it's just awesome.
It's a really good community, mate. It really is. I have to honestly say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really, really good, mate. And it's good to see just one man, a father in his shop trying to make something, trying to, put food on the table. And, like you said, everyone has that, Yahoo moment or widget moment. And that's what you're trying to do with your product, mate.
Yeah, I see Simon just poked his head in there with the Rosenthal Products EU. He's actually, I think he told me yesterday that he'd be up at 4:00 in the morning to say hi.
Oh, okay, welcome. Okay, that's right. I saw that come up. Yep. Awesome. So I've got to put these other links in the description, don't I, as well? So the Malta dealer and the UK dealer, eh? Is that right? Is that
well, basically Europe is Simon with the Rosenthal Products EU. That's another site that my son put together. He's pretty talented with the computer.
Okay.
So right now, the only actual legitimate sales are Lakeshore Carbide.
I forgot Lakeshore. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, Carl's amazing. Sells
Yep.
really, really good tooling. I haven't bought carbide end mills from anybody else in the last 15 or 16 years. He's been amazing to me.
Yep.
Then I started my store up, and then Simon took a chance on us, and he decided to join up.
Yep.
So Simon, I'm hoping that he can kind of cover all of Europe. He's got quite a bit of background in business, and we'll
Yep.
see how that goes as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, look, believe it or not, Tim, you were worried about how long 30 minutes would go, but we've been 30 minutes on the money. We're 30 minutes and nearly 31 minutes in. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we head off?
Not really. I think the biggest thing that I really want to try to show here was the fact that I'm just an average guy. I'm not some multimillionaire. I'm just trying to make my way. And with some of the communication that we've had on various videos and stuff, there's a lot of times that I get misunderstood or it comes across wrong. And I can think of a bunch of different reasons or different instances that I wish could have been different, but it just went off in the wrong direction. And I'm not some difficult individual to work with. I'm just trying to do my thing. And I would think that a lot of my friends know that I'd take the shirt off my back and help them out.
Absolutely. Yep.
Just want to have a decent chance for people to actually get to meet me.
Yeah, no, it's good, mate. I've enjoyed interviewing you, so I appreciate you giving me the time today.
Right.
And and I know it's late in the USA, and I appreciate all the viewers in the United States and the UK, and of course in Australia here as well. And thanks for joining in, and following along. Much appreciated. Now, before we leave, can you just hold that one up, mate? The one you've got there, please, just to show the people. Look at that.
Let's see if I can get it to focus.
Yep, it's looking good. Let me just take you in full screen here just to show the people. Now this one here, Tim, what's that again? That's the 2-inch one.
The actual hobbyist.
Yep.
The focus really isn't working the greatest, and everything's backwards on my monitor. But
no, it's working on my side. Yep. Awesome. Look at that brass set screw, and just show everyone how every corner's deburred. There's no sharp edges on it. Yeah. Very nice. It's a sexy looking product, mate. I have to say, it's a very well presented product.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's very good. Well, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Look, thank you for joining in today. I appreciate it. Nice to see a lot of you here, and I appreciate your time. Thank you once again, and thank you to the young man, Carl, in the background there, helping Dad out today. And thanks, Tim, for your time.
Absolutely.
And we might call it a day, everyone. So look after yourself. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your evening or enjoy your afternoon. See you guys. See you on the next Aaron Engineering video. Bye-bye.